同学们好. Hello. So yes, it's the 23rd. Last week we did single whip, raise hands, and white crane, and today we'll work on the brush knee and hand strum lute sequence. So that's on the slate for today. And so last week, the kinds of methods that we were learning, the main ones were actually the turn, the 180-degree turn. That was the main thing. And then actually the other was going from a bow stance to an empty stance and turning through 90 degrees. So today we're going to be working on sort of the methods are actually going to be more footwork changes, just flagging that because, we're going to be in an empty stance. We're going to go to a bow stance and then we're going to come back to an empty stance. And we'll also do some work on the waist and the body movement. But let us begin with a few minutes of standing practice. Since we did empty stance last week, we'll get to empty stance, but let's just start feet shoulder width apart. So bend your knees and feel your weight even forward back on the soles of your feet. Call that weight over the bubbling well. Crotch rounded so that the weight is even on the inside and the outside. And sink your lower back. So drop your hips straight down. That's relax the waist. Arms rounded in front of your body. So we'll practice our posture. So we've done one, which is the relax the waist. Another one is to absorb the chest. And that's where we extend the elbows away from the spine. So feel your arms are like the surface of a balloon being pulled out in all directions. So relax the waist and raising the head extends the spine up, down. And this opens the back up, left, right. So the next one is to make sure your shoulders are sinking and your elbows are dropping. So many of these things, they work against each other. You do one thing and then the other thing goes bad. So if you sink your chest too much, your shoulders will go up. So make sure your shoulders are sinking, elbows are dropping. And the last one actually helps with shoulders sinking, which is to extend your head up. So feel your head is opening up, extending from the crown of your head up, and at the same time, from the shoulders down, everything is sinking. And breathe in the abdomen. Sink the chi to the dantian. So the correct posture helps with breathing. So let's just change from here into an empty stance. So shift to one side, open one of the feet to the corner. And let's do a heel touch, empty stance. I'll just line up here. So heel touch, empty stance. Hey, Mark, welcome.
Hi.
We're just doing some standing practice. So we're in empty stance. Check that you've got 70% on the back, 30% on the heel of the front foot. Now do your posture, head up. Your head is straight to the front if you can, in the direction of your front toe. Sink the shoulders, drop the elbows. Absorb the chest and round the back by having the elbows extend away from the spine. And relax the waist by sinking your hips straight down. And change. So bring the front foot next to the back foot, now pointing out to the corner, and change to an empty stance, heel touch on the other side. Your chest is open to the side. Your arms are that way, but your head is looking to the front. And this is because very often our chest is going in one way and our head is going in the other direction. So again, head up, sink the shoulders, absorb the chest, relax the waist, feel the weight, the whole weight on the back foot and the whole heel on the front foot. And check your breathing. See if you are breathing into your abdomen. And let's do the other empty stance. So change feet again. And now touch with the ball of the foot. Center line two sides, 70% on the back, 30% on the front. Ball touch. Make sure you're leaning forward enough at the hip crease so that you've got that 30%. Posture remains the same. Head up, shoulders down, elbows down. Absorb the chest, relax the waist. And feel yourself sinking onto the back foot. All the weight is on the bubbling well of the back foot. While you're here, breathe. If at any point this gets too much, just release. You know, here we're actually putting 70% of our weight on one leg. And we're not used to standing on one leg for any length of time. So that is probably going to be work. You'll feel a little bit of a burn at some point as you hold this posture. Let's change. That was a minute. So we'll do the other side. Empty stance, ball touch, center line two sides. Open the chest to the side, but the head is in the direction of the front foot. Feel the weight over the bubbling well of the back foot, so even on the ball and the heel. Lean forward at the hip crease so that you've got 30% on the ball of the front foot. Now relax the waist, drop the hips straight down, absorb the chest by extending the elbows from the spine. Sink the shoulders, drop the elbows, keep your armpits open, and then show your spirit, raise your head, open, extended, light, energetic, up, up, up with the head, and then from the neck on down, everything sinks. And we'll release, so shift your weight forward onto the front foot. Bring the arms up, press down as you straighten your legs. You don't have to come out this way. It's just a nice way of doing it. So there we are. Great to see you, Mark. Glad you could make it. Welcome. And if you need to rest at any point after your previous hour, please do so.
Thank you.
All right, good. So let us just practice the form, the first section together, just to warm up. And by the way, I do warm up exercises for myself about 5 minutes before the hour. You're always welcome to join me if you want to do that. So let us just practice together. And if you have any questions, we'll address those about the whole of the first section. When we get there, I'll go in the same direction as you. So we're going to start in prepare. And this, in fact, is standing practice. So legs straight but not locked, feet shoulder width apart, feet square to the front, head up, shoulders down, chest absorbed, waist relaxed. And breathe. Feel your breath sinking into the abdomen. Opening. Grass bird's tail. Ward off, left. Ward off, right. Roll back. Press. Push. Single whip, transition. Single whip. Raise hands, step forward. White crane spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Hand strums the lute. Left brush knee. Right brush knee. Left brush knee. Hand strums the lute. Left brush knee. Step forward, parry, block, and punch. Apparent closing up. Cross hands. And we'll just do closing here, since we're at the end of the section, and back to original position. Stop. Good. Are there any questions about any of that?
Is there a kick at the end when you roll? No kick in that. Okay. All right.
No kicks. That excitement always awaits us in the second section.
Yes.
Kicks and turns in the second section. Yep. No kicks in this one.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. So if there aren't any questions, and you can always interrupt later if there are anything that comes up. Let's just practice what the first two chunks that we've done. We'll practice them. I'll give some cues, and then I think we'll have a few minutes. I'll just watch you do it, and then just see if there's anything that we should talk about. So I'll face in this direction this time around. So we'll start in prepare. So opening, rotate and lift the arms up to shoulder height. Keep the shoulders down. Pressing down, first upper arms, forearms, then palms. Keep the palms parallel to the ground. Finish in front of your hips, palms horizontal. Grass bird's tail, ward off left. Shift weight slightly to the left. Open the right toe, separate the arms slightly. Sink down, close the arms, and step out into a bow stance. Ward off left. You're ending in a bow stance. Your torso is vertical. Left arm to the side, right arm by the right hip. Grass bird's tail, ward off right. Shift weight slightly to the right. Bring the left hand in. Now rotate and grab and pull to the left with the left hand. Step in and out, close and step, ward off right. You're in a bow stance. Now your torso is leaning forward. Roll back. As you start turning, both arms start rotating. Turn the body, arms to the corner. Now sitting your weight back, come to the other corner. Your weight is 70% on the left leg. Your left fingertips, right forearm center. Press. Turn the right arm to a circle, left palm to forearm center. Press up and out. Push, flatten the palms, palms square, chest square. Now sitting back, palms come back horizontally. Sit in front of your ribs vertically, and then push up and out into push. Single whip transition. Sit the palms as you shift your weight back. Keep shifting weight. Separate the arms. Pull with the left arm as you pivot on the right heel. Come around to the left. Now sitting your weight onto the right. Press down in front of your stomach as you go into single whip. Step out. Deflect with the left arm and strike at the end. You're in a torso vertical bow stance. Single whip arm just about neck height with the wrist. Raise hand, shift weight slightly to the right to free up the left foot. Turn the left foot to the corner. Open both arms. Keep the right slightly higher than the left. heel touch, and the arms close and come forward. Wide crane. With body turning, rotate both palms. Palms face each other. Now pull down, looking to the side. Close, and as you close, change your footwork. Step the right foot to the corner. Shift your weight onto the right. Right hand goes up. Left hand goes down. You end in a bow stance. Ball touch. Left hand is over the forehead. Right hand is over the forehead. Left hand is by the left leg. And we'll stop there. Hey, Judy. Great to see you.
Thank you.
We are just practicing. So let's do that again. I'll give cues again, and then I will just watch you do it, and I'll do it facing the other direction this time. So we are in prepare. Opening, rotate and lift the arms to shoulder height, palm shoulder width apart, pressing down. Slight waist movement back on the vertical direction. Ward off left, shift weight to the left, open the right foot, arms separate slightly, sink your weight onto the right, arms open and then close as you step out into a bow stance, lifting with the left arm, pulling down with the right. Check that your torso is vertical and your crotch is rounded. Ward off right, shift weight to the right, the left hand goes a bit to the right and then pulls out to the left, close, right foot comes in and out, shift your weight forward, ward off right. The right arm is sort of a quarter circle in front of your body, right elbow in line with the right knee. Roll back. As your chest turns to the right, both arms rotate, and with the right arm to the corner, shifting your weight back, the right arm comes to the left corner, looking in the direction of the left corner. Press. Rotate the right arm into a bow. Press the left palm on the right forearm and press out. Push. Flatten the palms, square the chest. Both palms are now square. Pull back horizontally. Sit the palms shoulder width apart in front of the ribs. Push up and out with the weight shift forward. Single whip. Shifting your weight back, flatten the palms. Pivoting, pushing on the right heel, pull with the left arm. Arms come all the way to the left, left arm straight. Now come back, shifting your weight onto the right foot. Make a hook. Now lift the left arm into ward off as you step out, heel touch as the left arm deflects, foot flattens as the knee bends. You are striking. Raise hand, shift weight slightly to the left, turn the left toe in. Both arms open, make a nice circle as you root with the right foot and separate. Right fingertips are about eye height, left fingertips pointing at right forearm center. Both hands are folded, tilted in slightly, but either side of central line. Wide crane, rotate the chest, palms face each other. Pull both hands down, circle, change footwork. Right foot to the right corner. Now wide crane spreads its wings. Check your footwork. You are in an empty stance ball touch, 70% on the back foot, but you have enough on the front foot that you can get a nice root. And stop. Good. Any questions? Yes, Mark.
On the left word off, I
Yep.
was taught by another teacher. I know it's heresy to bring up other teachers, but to turn all the way 90 degrees to the original front.
Ah, yes. So the way I understand the movement, so let me just make sure we're on the same page with what you've just described. So we're starting here and prepare. We open. So at this position, our chest is to the corner.
Okay.
Now, as we come back, we do turn more back. But so you're saying you were taught that the chest is square here?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't come square. I don't know. I don't have enough flexibility to do that actually, but we do come part of. So there is a slight turn to the left, but not all the way square in this
Okay.
style.
So it's maybe instead of a 90 degree, it's more closer to 45.
Let me just see what my body thinks. So here my chest is to square. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so as I come here, now you see what's happening here is that my opponent is in front of me and I'm reaching out to connect with their punch here. So I do turn my chest in to connect, and then I come back because I'm going to come back here. So there is a turn, but it's, I would say, between corner and straight.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. So why don't you just practice from the beginning to White Crane, and I'll watch you. Just do it on your own time. Do it a couple of times. I'll just watch you and see if there's anything that we need to work on. So just on your own time. Excellent. So some really nice combining upper and lower, which is working really well, and some nice arm shapes as well. There are just a few things that I want to just remind us of. Uh, and so the first is the when we're doing, and actually, with the exception of Yali, for the most part, I really can't see your feet. So I'm not going to comment on stance, even though that's the most important thing. It's always stance. So with ward off left, uh, when we do ward off left, I want you to think that the energy point is the center of the forearm. So when the right hand is coming down, it's coming down across the center of the forearm. So it doesn't come down here, it's coming down here because you're essentially connecting your opponent's elbow or arm with the center of your forearm, and then the other arm is here in the grab. So it's here. Then when we do ward off right, the just check the position of the left hand. So it's essentially the way we think about it, it's a fist width down and behind. So the fingertips of the left hand are about a fist width from the forearm center. And again, they line up forearm center. The difference, and just check your positions, I couldn't see this on the camera. With ward off left, your opponent is beside you, right? So your position is like this, and you can see that my tiger's mouth is lined up with my forearm center here, and
Uh,
it's here,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
When I'm doing ward off right, my opponent is in front of me, and so the center of my forearm is on my center line, which is essentially the line through my nose. And so my fingertips here are also on the center line. And try, to the extent that you can, have a nice rounded shape with the right arm so that it's essentially doing ward off. This is a small thing, but you're all well practiced. So one of the things to refine with your ward off shape is that the wrist is a little higher than the elbow. So the arm is not horizontal like this. It's actually up a little bit. So the palm is about shoulder height and the elbow is a little bit down. So try and make sure that you have this up, down, slight curve. The other thing which it took me a long time, I tended to have I don't think any of you have this habit that I had, to actually put a kink in my wrist. It's actually straight here. This time it's straight, just one straight line, but it's got a curve in it. And you can see it comes down a bit. The next thing, let's see. Yes, so with press and push, so we've done rollback to this position here. We're going to close the arms. So you can see that my forearm is a little bit lower, my palm is a little lower than shoulder height. I'm going to push up, and it's going to come up slightly. My palm is going to end up at shoulder height. So there's actually a slight upward movement here as I do press. So one way of thinking about press, we're supposed to talk about methods and techniques, right? So press, the Chinese is ji, and I've been told that press is like if you're on the subway and you're just trying to make space for yourself, you're sort of pushing people sideways. It's a bit like a balloon expanding. So when we do press, even, this arm is going forward, and it's almost like there's a balloon here that's extending. So this is the press feeling. The next thing to just pay attention to, and I'm mentioning lots of things for most of you, actually for all of you, at most one or two of these things are an issue. So just pick up the ones that resonate with you. With press, be careful not to have the hands above the shoulders. So we've done press, we're going to go into push, so the arms are level. Then we're just going to come straight back. So it's just, the palms are just coming straight back level, and they actually are sitting shoulder width in front of the ribs. And I make sure that my elbows don't go behind my sides, because then I'm opening my chest. So the movement actually is to hear my elbows come out, my palms sit, then they go forward and they stay sitting. From this angle, it looks something like this. So actually, hopefully my palms don't move too much sideways as I do that on the screen, because I'm just coming back and pushing back out. So those are the grass bird's tail things that I noticed. Any questions or comments about that?
JP, which is the one that travels upward also, as well as out?
Yeah. So uh, in fact, both press and push, the way we do it in the form, have a slight upward movement. If you watch Master Young Jin demonstrating it, his opponent goes this way. You can also crush them down into the ground, but both go slightly up. So for example, from rollback, I'm here and I go slightly up to reestablish my shoulder width, shoulder height position of my hand. Because
Okay.
when I do rollback, I'm starting with my right hand at shoulder height. And as I come back, my right hand comes down slightly. Then I'm going to just do a rotate. So my arm just rotates here as my body rotates. So the
Okay.
body rotation is making the arm rotation go. So now you can see my palm is lower than my shoulder, and so I need to get it back up to shoulder height.
Okay.
And this position is identical to this position. When we do ward off right and press, the arm is the same. It's just the hand is it's just a different position of the left hand. And with push, we come down, and again, we press up as we go forward.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just do one or two things on single whip. So let's talk about arm movements. So with single whip, what happens is we're in press, we flatten the arms. As our body turns, our arms, actually if I go lower, you might be able to see from the top, our arms offset. So my forearms are still parallel, but one is bent and the other one straight. I go around and I end up in this position. So my left, when I get to the left-hand side, my left arm is more or less straight. So let's just do that together. We're in push. Sit back, wait, flatten the palms. Now, as I pull, the first thing that happens is I separate my palms. The palms go from being next to each other to being offset. Then the arms come around as the foot comes around, and I end up with my left arm straight and my right elbow bent. Then I bend my left elbow to come through into single whip. Yeah. Let's do that again, and then we'll talk about the little whip at the end. So flatten, separate the arms, keep turning, keep the forearms parallel, sit back, coming back to the other side, make a hook. Now, when you've made the hook, your left arm is more or less horizontal. Fingertips of the left hand pointing at right forearm center. Yep, that's good. And just be careful that when you make a hook, some of us, and I think it may just be a camera thing, seem to have your arms quite high. It doesn't have to be high. It just has to be neck height. And then the trickiest part of single whip is, so we've started in press, we're here. It's the sequence of movements that get us to the finish. So the first thing that happens is we step out and raise the left arm to ward off. Shifting weight forward, flatten the foot as the left arm deflects, then pressing out, striking with the left. So there's three things that happen. Stepping with the left arm comes to ward off 45 degrees. Flatten the foot, the left arm deflects to the front, bend knee, strike out, and then you need to make sure your torso is vertical, which mine wasn't right there. So just when you work on your single whip, just be clear in your mind that there are those three things that happen. And once you've got the three things clear, take out the seams between them. Okay, so let's move on, unless there are any questions. Okay, so we're going to do the brush knee sequence, and I'll practice through these things with you. I'll show you a few things. We'll look at an exercise. I'll ask Susan to help me with the applications, and we'll see where we end up. So let us start. So I'm going to go in this direction. We've done white crane. So we're in empty stance, left leg forward. So the first thing that happens, and I'll break down the parts and pieces, is one, with body rotation, rotate the right hand and sit the left hand. So the right hand is now facing you, the left hand is sitting. That's one. Two, swing and step. So heel touch, arms out. Three, with weight moving forward, brush with the left foot flattens. And four, press out, the knee bends. Let's do that. So we'll practice that a few times, but in terms of fundamental methods, what we've just introduced here is a change of footwork from an empty stance to a bow stance. So I just want to make sure we notice this, because you can see we were in an empty stance for white crane, and we go into a bow stance from here. And you don't have to do anything heroic. Just pick up the foot and step it wider into a bow stance and shift into a bow stance. What we'll do next when we do hand strum lute is we'll actually go from an empty stance back to a bow stance. So these are really fundamental things we use everywhere in the form. So that's the footwork. Let's go back to the arm movement. And in fact, it's a body movement. So when the first thing that happens is, with a slight turning of the body, we're going to rotate the right arm and sit the left hand. This is one. So make sure that you've got this lifting shape in the left hand and your right palm is facing backwards. Two, the one is going to go up and the other one's going to go down, and you're going to close and stepping out into your bow stance here. So you can release your footwork if you want, if you're getting tired. I just want to point out that your right arm is to the back right corner at this point. Your palm is sort of to the side, but it's sitting. So you swing all the way back and you're looking in the direction of the back hand. Let's do 1 and 2 again. So 1, rotate and sit. 2, swing and step. Now, with weight moving forward, brush right hand to the shoulder and push. One of the things, so this is one of the key methods that we talk about a lot. There's the essential principle, which you all know, which is coordinate upper and lower. And so the way that's glossed is the energy is rooted in the feet, generated through the legs, distributed through the waist, and manifest in the arms. From the feet to the legs to the waist to the arms, everything in one movement, like a wave. So what we want to do, when we've rooted here, we're going to start pushing with the back foot and everything is going to start moving forward. So what we should avoid doing is when we're here to just flop this front foot down. What makes the front foot go down is pushing from the back forwards. Then I'm going to keep pushing and then my knee is going to bend. So this is, and in fact, then there's arm movement. So we've talked about the feet and the legs. Now let's talk about the waist. So we're starting in white crane here. Let me face this direction for a change. So the first thing we're going to do is with a slight waist turn to the right, we're going to sit. So you can see there's this movement. That's one. Now two, I'm going to swing. I'm going to turn my waist to the right and step. So I've got a body turn to the right. Now I'm going to come to the left and press forward. And I'm going to finish here. One of the questions that is often asked is, when do I turn my chest back to the left when I do brush knee? And the answer is, make sure you keep some in reserve, but don't wait to begin. By what I mean by that is, we're going to do 1, 2. So my chest is open probably more than corner here. I'm going to start as I move my weight forward. My chest is going to start turning. My chest is probably about to the corner now. And then I'm going to strike out. So I'm going to keep 45 degrees of body turn for the strike of the arm. Let's do that together. So 1, with body turning, rotate the arms. 2, swing and step. 3, with weight shifting, brush with the left arm and then push with the right. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what the martial art things that are going on here. So one of the things that's this left arm, somebody's punching me, I'm doing a deflect. You could call this a ward off. Actually, I think of it as a rollback. Lute, the rollback is you're following the direction of your opponent's energy. So you'll see it when we practice with Susan. Somebody's punching to you, you're actually letting the energy go. Then you're going to do a grab. So this is a grab. And then this is a strike. Da. So this is a strike here. Any questions? Let's do that a few times, and then we'll do hand strum loop. I think this is the better side. Okay. Brush knee. 1, with chest turning, rotate the right arm, left palm sitting. 2, swing and step. 3, shifting weight forward. Brush, leg straight, and then push with the knee bend. Again, empty stance, left leg forward. 1, rotate the arms, sit the left. 2, swing and step. Brush and push. One of the things which is the fundamental method that you've seen before that happens here again, let me show it to you in right ward off. We've done left ward off. I'm turning, I'm going to close and step. And here I'm rooting with my right foot. I'm actually setting up the angle of my torso in the direction of my front leg so that as I now push from the back, I go into ward off right. We're doing the same thing in brush knee. So rotate the arms. Here, I'm actually sitting, I'm preparing myself to go forward by tilting my torso in the direction of my front leg. Then I do brush and push. We're going to do brush, knee, and push on both sides. So let's just review how we go from brush knee left to right to left to right. So I think what I will do, I'm going to assume that you're going to mirror me. You don't have to, but I'll come towards. So I'm imagining I've done a brush knee left. This is mirrored. So the first thing that you're going to do is shift your weight back slightly, turn your left toe out, lift your left arm, your right arm is lifted too. They're still in the center line. Your chest is to the corner, but you're still looking in this direction. Then circle the arms, step, root, move, forward, wait. So now you're in a right brush knee. We're going to go to left brush knee. Same thing. Shift weight back, left arm comes up, close. You're still looking in the straight direction. Now, one arm is going to go up, the other arm is going to go down. Close and step. Brush and push. Yep. And remember that your energy point is the heel of the hand. So your palm isn't square, your palm is turned slightly in. You're hitting with the heel. Let's do a whole sequence of these brush knees left and right. So I'm just going to start in a left brush knee, and we're just going to go that way and just do one after the other. So I'm in brush knee left, shift weight back, turn the left toe out. Now my chest is to the corner, but my hands are either side of the center line, which is still to the side, the direction I'm moving. Circle down with one, up with the other, close and step. Brush with the weight shift and push. Now we're going to go to the other side. Shift weight back, lift the right arm, open the right toe, shift your weight forward, close and step as you go forward. Again, shift weight back, left arm comes up, turn the chest, circle, close and step, brush and push. One more, shift weight back, rotate the arms. Again, check that you're still looking in the moving direction. Your palms are either side of your center line. Now shifting your weight in the direction of the front foot, circle and step. Let's make it even simpler. The fundamental method, remember the last week's fundamental method was how, in terms of footwork and moving, is how do we change direction from this direction to this direction, right? So now we're just going to move in a straight direction, going from one bow stance to the next. So I'm going to go away from you, so if you want to follow me, we're all going in the same direction. And so I'm not going to do anything with the arms. We're just going to focus on the footwork. I'm in a bow stance. Shift weight back slightly. Turn the left toe to the corner. Now I'm going to move my weight, quotes, forward, but it's in the direction of my left foot so that I don't pitch over where I don't have support. So move towards that left corner. Bring the right foot through, heel touch, into a bow stance. Again, change, shift weight back slightly, open the right toe, move the weight in the direction of the right foot, step out into a bow, heel ball toe, bend knee. You might need to reset. Shift weight back, open the front toe, move your weight in the direction of the front foot so that you have support as you move through. Shift weight back, open the front. So now pause for a moment, make sure your crotch is rounded, make sure your knees are still in the direction of your toes. Shift forward weight, step through, and finish. One of the reasons why we do our hip opening exercises, actually we'll do them in a second, is when we do this transition, if our groin doesn't open enough, we compromise our knees. Because what I'm going to do here, I'll come up to here. So I'm in a bow stance. I'm going to open my front toe. But you can see my toes are 90 degrees offset from each other, and I need to make sure that I can open my groin enough that my knees and toes are pointing in the same direction here. Because if I don't, I'm like this, and that's bad for my knees. So that's why we want to keep crotch rounded here. Okay, questions? Good. Let's do, and Mark, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, so let's do hand strums lute. So we've done left brush knee. So we're in a left bow stance. You know this movement, but we're just going to review it. So to remind ourselves about the finer points. Shift weight forward. Right hand goes forward and down a bit. Bring the back foot in. Shifting the weight back, push off with your left ball of the foot. Bring the right hand back. Change footwork into heel touch. Lift with the left, press down with the right. We'll go through this in detail, but I just want to point out the fundamental method that we've just done here is how to change from a bow stance to an empty stance. You bring the back foot in so that you're now center line to sides and you're changing to an empty stance. As you know, we've got two empty stances, one where there's a heel touch, the other where there's a ball touch. We always alternate ball and heel. So if you're going to end on the ball, you've got to start on the heel. If you're going to end on the heel, you've got to start on the ball. So with this one, we're going to end on the heel here. So when we push back, you need to push back with the ball of your foot. Pick up the foot, land with the heel. So you're going to push back with the ball, land with the heel. Just to make this 100% clear, belabor the point, when we do needle at C bottom, it's the other way around. So with needle at C bottom, we are going to end with a ball touch. So we push back with the heel, change ball, needle at C bottom. So there are two ways of going to an empty stance. This is one of them. Let's do it together again. I'm in a left bow stance, left leg forward, brush knee. Shift weight forward, left yield forward. Sitting weight back, push back with the ball of the left foot, pull the right hand back. Change footwork, left goes up, right goes down. Your ending posture looks just like raise hands, but the application is different. But still, fingertips are about eye height. Palms are tilted in slightly and on either side of the center line. Fingertips of the lower hand is pointing to the right forearm center. Next thing I want to, so we've talked about the footwork. I want to talk about the waist movement. So there are actually two waist movements here. One is the one you need to worry about. The other one you can work on over time. So let's just review that. So we're in left brush knee. Yield forward weight. Now you want to turn, your chest is square, maybe a little to the left of square. Pull, you're pulling back here. So actually this is a waist turn. It looks as if your right hand is coming back, but it's not really the elbow that's making the hand come back. It's the waist turn that makes it come back. Then as you root here and you apply the technique, there's actually a slight forward back, in other words, a vertical movement of the waist here as you apply the energy. One more thing, back to footwork. To make this movement be more powerful and be more effective, when we're in a bow stance, remember the first thing we do is we bring this foot in. And it's ambiguous. When somebody says bring the foot in, do they mean this or do they mean this? Right? So when I say bring the foot in, I mean bring it in laterally from side to side. so that it goes from a bow stance width to center line 2 sides. If you bring the foot in this way, you really don't have much power, because what you want to be able to do is pull. So you want to establish yourself at the back. So don't bring the back foot in too far. Let me see if Susan can help us with applications. And yes, she can. Ah, you're gonna try and do it in Dr. Scholl's, are you? Okay. Maybe not in Dr. Scholl's. All right. Okay. Let's do it this way around. So I'm just going to go through the application meanings and then just remind you of some of the techniques that we use for all of these things. So Susan, I'm in White Crane. Susan is going to punch. Actually, this arm is going to be a deflect, and this arm is going to be a deflect. Then I'm going to do a grab and pull. And then with this hand, I'm going to do a strike. Let's just show that again. So this hand is a deflect control. This hand is coming around. Going to step forward, brush. We call this brush, but actually it's a grab and pull, and then strike here. The Chinese, which I will mangle for this, is Lao Xiao Wu, which is brush knee and twist step. The twist step got lost in the English translation. So I just want to show you the twist step. Where is the twist step? So actually, we'll just do it more simply. If Susan comes here, I'm just going to deflect to the side. You can see I'm going to step behind her foot here, and then I'm going to try and lock her foot in place. So this is the twist step. Now, let's come a little bit this way because we get it multiple sides. Let's start again. So Susan's going to come in. I'm going to step in here and try and block her. But if she can release that foot and step back, now she's going to strike again. I'm going to come back here again. She's going to step back. I'm going to come back. And so I make her go back and back and back. If she doesn't retreat, the twist comes into it. So this time, Susan, I want you to not retreat. So I'm going to come to here. I'm going to brush. Actually, you can see I'm pulling that way. Her foot is trapped. This is actually a takedown. She's going to fall over because she can't release that foot. That's the brush. That's the twist step. You can see it better on the other side. So if you come in on this side, I come in here. You can see I step here. My right arm is in front of her chest, and I'm going to go this way. That's the twist step. Now let's do hand strum lute. So let's say I'm here. Susan grabs me. How do I release this? It'll come up a little bit here. How do I release this? I'm going to pull. Just by this is the waist turn. Pull. Now you can see that I've got a wrist lock on her here, and I can actually release this. By the way, needlet C bottom. This is needlet C bottom. But the technique that we're going to do here is a split technique. So I'm going to go down with this hand and up with this hand. That's the split energy. One energy in one direction, the other energy in the other direction. And actually this breaks the opponent's elbow. So this is what this movement does. So let's just show it one more time. So she grabbed. So let's say she grabs. I actually yield forward. And then I come back. Now I've got the split movement. And you can see the difference in this movement. It's up and down. When we did, I wonder what would be a good direction. Try this direction. When we did raise hands, Susan's going to come in here. I'm actually going to catch her elbow here. And it's actually this way. So yeah, come in on the diagonal, Susan, I think would probably be, yeah, that's good. So Susan's going to come in. I'm going to do this. So with raised hands, the movement is this way, even though the hand position in the form is identical. In raised hands, it's this way, but in hand strum lute, it's this way. Question? Nope. Okay, good. Thank you. So let's practice those two movements, and we'll now just stitch them all together. We'll do the whole sequence from white crane, hand strum lute, brush knee, other brush knee, hand strum lute again, brush knee again, and I'll provide cues. So let's start in white crane. Empty stance, left leg forward. Left brush knee, 1, rotate both arms, sit the left arm, circle down with the left, up with the left, brush and push. Hand strum lute, yield forward, bring the back foot in. With body turning, pull the right hand back, the left arm comes up a little bit, root with the left, separate, split. Brush knee, again, rotate the right hand, left hand sits, close to the side, brush and push. Right brush knee, shift weight back slightly, open the left toe, left hand down, right hand up, close and step, root with the right foot, brush as the weight comes forward, and strike with the left hand. Right brush knee, shift weight back slightly, open the right toe, circle the right hand down, left hand up, close and step to the corner, brush and push. Hand strum lute again, shift forward, weight, yield forward with the right hand. Step in, pull back, waist turn. Change footwork to the heel, left hand up, right hand down. Left brush knee, left hand goes up, right hand circles down, close and step at the back, root with the left heel, brush and push. And that takes us to the end of the sequence. What we'll do next week is going to be parry, block, and punch. And we'll see how far we get. There's a lot in parry, block, and punch. We may or may not get to the end of the first section. And then we'll spend some time just reviewing. Any questions before we go?
I have a rookie question again. What do you mean when you say set hands?
Set hands.
Yeah, set hand.
Trying to think where I said that. Okay. Yes. Yes. So what I was trying to say in the term we use is sit.
Sit. Okay.
Sit. And so you remember when I was saying, you know, for example, in ward off, the wrist, the palm is in line with the forearm.
Yeah.
And that's usually when we do ward off. When we do push, we actually flex the wrist. And depending on exactly the movement we're doing, we flex it more or less. But this flexing, we often use the word sit. When we say sit the palm or sit the wrist, it's this shape. So when I was saying it in terms of, so for example, hand strum lute. So I'm going to go here. So you can see this is straight. I'm going to pull back. You can see this left hand is in lifting position because it's go under my opponent's arm, so I can do this. So it's this sitting movement or sitting position of this palm. Okay. And then when I finish, you can see that my right hand is also sitting. Yeah. So that both wrists are actually sitting slightly. They're not straight in line. My palms are not in line with my forearms. They're actually sitting, quotes, slightly. Okay. Make sense?
Thank you.
Okay, let us end there. Thank you very much for practicing with me. Time really flies. 同学们，再见。